This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by Kraft Peanut Butter. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. It is a Pod Squad week, which means I've got the team back with me. First of all, we've got Maddie Schultz.
Hello, nice to see your faces again.
And we've got Nick Owen.
Hey, guys.
How are we doing, everyone? Good to be back together so soon.
Yes, it is. Very well, very well. I don't know. The thing is, we've already spoken for so long. I'm like, yeah, I'll just recap. But no, good to be back here and feeling fresh after a holiday.
Yeah, how was your trip to New Zealand? Because you did mention it briefly, and I was like, oh yeah, let me talk about my time since I've seen you. But you actually went overseas. How was that?
It was so good. For those who have not gone, New Zealand's just so beautiful. And what was cool was this time was my first visit to the South Island, which is where all the really, really stunning mountains and lakes are. So we just had the best week kind of driving around. We climbed up to where Mount Cook is, which is the tallest mountain. Went down to Milford Sound, which is a big fjord. So it was just unbelievable and good for the soul.
Is the South Island where they did a lot of rings? Is that?
Hobbiton is in the north, in amongst the farmland there, where in Matamata. Alicia is so sick of me saying that that's a town so good they named it twice.
Every time she frowns at that joke, you're like, "Hey, what's the matter?"
But yeah, so all of the mountainous stuff you see in Lord of the Rings, and like the fields, like Rohan, that's South Island.
Yeah, the fields of Pelennor, the path of Caradhras.
We did go. Sorry, I'll finish this.
Sorry to interrupt your impression. Apologies.
No, but we did go just outside of Queenstown. Is a forest, which is where they filmed Lothlorien.
Nice.
So yeah, we went there and I took a few snaps. I had a croissant and I pretended that was lamba spread. So yeah, I'll have to send you some photos you can put on the website, put on a t-shirt.
I see.
Yes, please.
Well, how come Nick is the face of all of our t-shirts? Can we make that a rule now? All merch can only feature Nick.
I'll draw up a little croissant, but with your glasses on the croissant.
Yes, please.
We'll put little,
I'd love that.
Little
actually.
arms or little legs, and he can be in the forest. It'll be so cute.
I'm actually shocked now, thinking back to our last episode, that we haven't made a t-shirt where we just put Nick's head on all of the girls on the spaceship in Fifth Element with the boob window. The Nick element.
Give me time.
Very cool, man. That sounds awesome. Sounds very relaxing. You seemed very at peace when you came. You were very zen when I saw you this afternoon or this evening. What about you, Maddie? I'm going to pretend like I haven't seen you a bunch of times since we last recorded.
I'm just getting the momentum back into the school term. So I've come off school holidays where it's a little less fast-paced. Still lots to do, still normal home life with the kids. But, yeah, getting back into the school term, getting my head back into gear with, juggling and planning. And, yeah, but it's been a good week anyways. I've been all right. And, yeah, we had my daughter's 5th birthday party on the weekend. So got to hang out with you and your little one, your fam. It was good fun.
It's insane that your daughter is 5 years old or is about to turn 5, and my daughter's about to turn 5. That's half a decade. It's crazy.
They're like real humans now. When they talk to me sometimes, I'm like, what the hell? You've got opinions and ideas and what?
It's
wow.
I've been going to the movies a little bit lately, and I've had over the last couple of weeks some real success with claw machines. First time in my life. Because now whenever I take my daughter to the movies, I'm like, I want to do the claw machine. So now, whenever she knows I'm going to the movies, the expectation is I'm going to bring home a toy, and I'm like, oh no, like I did it twice. Like I don't think I could do it again. And so this morning, I went to the movies last night, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. She woke me up at like 6:30 or 5:30, and she's like, "Daddy, there was no toy this morning," and I was like, "Kid, look, I'm trying." But I
You
am
were like,
going to.
sorry, hon. Just
Yeah.
it was crap tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to the movies tomorrow night, so I'll have my second chance there. Speaking of movies, we should do a bit of a wrap up on what we've been watching, and then we can dive into the topic, the long overdue topic we've been planning for longer than the Mickey 17 episode, I think, at this point. Maddie, you been watching anything?
I'll go first, just because this week I've only managed to watch one, and I watched a warm, comforting favorite, and I just rewatched for the bazillionth time Pride and Prejudice, because it's its 20-year anniversary this year, I think.
Oh my
nice.
gosh, 20 years.
Yeah,
What the heck?
I think so. Yeah, and I think I'm going to be looking for some cinemas. If anyone knows any cinemas that are playing it, I'd love to see it in cinemas.
I reckon the Astor would play it.
Yeah, I'll have to just go digging and have a look, because it's a gorgeous film. It's gorgeous music and great cast, and it's one of my favorites. So yeah,
Is that-
a nice little
is that the-
rewatch.
Is that James McAvoy and Keira Knightley? Is that the one, or am I getting confused?
You're getting two of them mixed around. So
Matthew-
She's in
Maddie, isn't
Atonement, I think, maybe.
yes,
can't
so it's still Keira Knightley.
Okay.
But yeah, Nick, what was I've forgotten his name.
Isn't it Matthew? I think it's Matthew, but it's like Matthew McFadden.
McFadden, yeah, it's
yeah.
Irish name, dude from Succession.
Oh yeah, so good. So are you a movie versus over show, Pride and Prejudice, or both? You got room for both?
I'm all versions. Yeah, I'm book versions, BBC versions, remakes. It's the same as Little Women. I'm all the versions and all the books. They're just gorgeous.
Then do you mess with Pride and Prejudice and Zombies? Does that fall under...
I read the book, haven't seen the film.
The movie I watched a few years back, I thought it was quite fun. But I had no context. I haven't read or watched Pride and Prejudice. So I was just like, woo, zombies. But I enjoyed it.
Sounds like something I'd watch.
Is that a Bronte novel? Who wrote Pride and Prejudice?
Oh, that's a good question.
I feel like that's something I should know.
Mate. Yeah.
Do you know when you're looking at us because we're stupid, or you don't know? You must know.
Yeah, I'm just going to wait till Nick catches up. Come on, man.
Jane Austen.
This is our International Women's Day episode, and you don't know who Pride and Prejudice. A little like, if I could reach through the screen and smack both of you, I would.
Yeah, sorry about that. I get it confused with Wuthering Heights. Those two,
okay.
And I know that's a Bronte novel. So I plead.
Okay, you've redeemed yourself. You passed. James, what are you going to do? How are you going to
I always get Jane Austen confused with Austin Powers. That's my problem.
Shagadelic.
Yeah, he said to her across the drawing room.
He said, yeah, baby, yeah.
Yeah, 'tis nobler to be less shagadelic than the man that came before you. I don't know if that's even remotely close to dialogue. Obviously, shagadelic is verbatim, but... So you enjoyed your rewatch then, I'm guessing? It sounds like it.
I did. I had a nice little rewatch. And I work very hard not to quote every single line out loud.
Sadly, it seems like no one else in the show would get the reference anyway.
No, I won't quote anything. But just
I'll check it out. I will. I won't pledge to watch it before the next episode, but I will pledge to watch it this year. I'll watch it, and then I can compare notes. Or you could just force us to, because I think moving forward we're going to be doing our recommend watches, where we'll talk about movies we recommend each other. So, but I will check it out. I'll find it on physical somewhere, and I'll watch that bad boy.
Yes, please. Nick, you've been watching TV. Tell me. You seemed really excited that you wanted to tell us about what you've been watching. Tell me.
I am so excited. And first of all, literally 0 movies since we last spoke. Obviously, a big part of that was...
Not even on the plane?
Away. No, I read on the plane. I like it as a enforced... it's not that long to where we went. It's just 3 hours. But I like that because it's you're there. It's not much to do. So yeah, I read on the plane. But I have been catching up on Andor in time for season 2, which is, if you don't know, is a Star Wars show. and I'm going to come in off the long run up here with a hot take.
Ooh.
I think Andor is the best Star Wars this century.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think most people feel. I haven't seen it.
God damn it! I thought it was gonna be
I've heard so many good things about season 2, but I haven't finished season 1.
I haven't
so
started.
I'm not there yet.
Okay, I won't. I mean, and have you seen Rogue One? Have you both seen?
I
Yeah.
loved Rogue One. We both,
me too.
James and I both absolutely loved Rogue One.
Oh, well, actually, to be fair, like, I don't want to put you in your place. I've seen it once, and I enjoyed the finale of the film.
I remember speaking about it with you, and you were like, "This was so cleverly done as a standalone."
I don't think that was me. I've only seen it once. I own it. It's actually on my list to rewatch because I actually felt maybe I was a bit harsh on it when I watched it the first time. So I want to go back and rewatch it.
I wonder if you should just hold off because the second season of Andor, which is they're throwing out episodes now, is the final. So you could go Andor and then into Rogue One.
I should point out the last Star Wars thing I watched was season 2 of The Mandalorian, so I'm significantly behind.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But I just like it's adult Star Wars. That's probably
Is it Gabrielle Luna?
Diego Luna.
Diego Luna.
Yeah. And there's some really the other cast in there is really good as well. But I just love it's like the writing, like the dialogue is so incredible. Like there's like a monologue that Stellan Skarsgård does about like what he's the sort of leader of the revolution, and there's this monologue he says about what the revolution has taken from him, and it is just so breathtaking. And I'm like, wow, how is this Star Wars? You know, like I love Star Wars, but it's not this. So I just couldn't recommend it enough. I think that first season is like one of my all-time favorite seasons of TV. And yeah, so Maddie, where are you up to?
Well, I picked it up when it first came out. So the first season, when it first started coming out, I think I watched the first 3 episodes. And then, I don't know what happened. I think, our TV broke. So we had no TV for about 12 months. So we didn't watch anything. We didn't catch up on anything. So we had this big pause. And then after that, all this other stuff came out. And and I need to jump back in because I remember really, really liking it. But I think when we got the new TV, I think that's when The Mandalorian came on, and that's when we started doing that one. And then, Last of Us and The Bear, and we started doing that sort of TV. So, I've got to get back in. I think I'll have to start again. I'll start from the beginning and then work through.
Yeah, I would say of the 3 of us, I'm probably the Star Wars novice. I think you guys probably hold much, much higher claims to the crown than I do for Star Wars fan. And I'll be honest, Nick, Maddie might like it more.
But the other thing I would say about it is like, if you are a Star Wars nerd, it digs a layer deeper than all the other shows or movies do in terms of like, if you're an old school Star Wars fan and you grew up with like the evil Empire and the Death Star, this like, it goes into like the bureaucracy of the Empire. Like you're in meetings, you see how it runs, and it's like really entertaining because like everything else is surface level. Like you see a cool new concept, like I don't know, some new Sith person or like a new band of Jedis or something like that. But this is just like, this goes really in depth into some stuff, which is probably really nerdy, but I love it anyway.
No, that's cool. No,
that's really
cool.
funny. Sorry. I was it's really funny because that's no, I'm so sorry. Go.
No,
the show's falling apart.
Go.
You go, please.
I can't remember what I was going to say. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm a jerk. I'm so sorry.
No, I go.
I was going to say, it's really funny because that's all the stuff that the prequel trilogy got critiqued for. People were like, it's too much trade deals. It's too much into it. And now suddenly, well, I guess it's because it's our generation. That was our trilogy, even like, in terms of us being the right age for when it came out. So now we're like, bring back the trade deals. Bring back meetings.
Yeah, that's right.
See, it wasn't worth it, Maddie. You should have definitely made your point. I'm sorry.
I don't even know what it was anymore. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, definitely
I'm just now thinking about, damn, I really need to go back and watch. I got to watch it from the beginning again then.
I feel like we need a segment of like some sort of exchange where it's like you've got to go watch the recommendation or something like that.
Oh, could you imagine how long the lists would get though?
Yeah, I know. We get. You'd have to keep it. We have to
Yeah,
keep
guys, I
ourselves in
watched
check.
like 10 movies, maybe more in the last week. Like, do you want me to give you my list of recommendations? Go for it.
But no,
My
that's it for me. I mean, I'm just getting back into things after the trip, so I made an effort to catch back up on Andor. So yeah, over to you, James. Yeah, I'm sure you've been watching some cool stuff.
I have. There's a bunch of short films which I sent you guys links to. I think most of them, which I won't talk about here because I'm interviewing pretty much everyone involved. Oh, there's some feedback. Involved in them. So Harry Waldman, who directed Enter the Room, he's on next week's show. And then Timothy J. Cox, who I sent you a bunch of his films, he's going to be on in a few weeks' time. So I'll save all that chat for the episodes. But I went and saw Sinners last week, the new Ryan Coogler film starring Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld and Delroy Lindo and a bunch of people. Like, it's, I think, currently the most hyped film of the year. People are like losing their minds over it, and it's worth the hype. Like, it's really good. It's a really great flick. It's the story of these two like bootlegger brothers, played both by Michael B. Jordan, and they've moved back to the South from Chicago, and they want to open up like this kind of like a bar, like a dance hall bar type thing, for African American people who are working on the plantation. So at the end of the day, they can just go back and relax and have a drink and stuff like that. And the first half of the film is just them getting that set up, like literally going to town, like making deals to get their liquor and get their signs made up and stuff like that. And then if I didn't know it was happening, it would have been a huge twist, but it is in the marketing. Halfway through, it just turns out to be a vampire movie. And it's really cool. Like, it's very reminiscent of From Dusk Till Dawn, if you've ever seen that. But I would say way more grounded and serious than From Dusk Till Dawn, which is weird because it's a vampire movie, but it's really grounded. And I don't know, it's just really cool. Like, it's just a really cool film. Like, Michael B. Jordan does such a great job playing both roles. He plays these hard-ass brothers who don't take crap from anyone. It's also like really sexy, like in a fun way. We're like, yeah, like I dig on this. I like that they're leaning into like everyone's hitting on each other. Are you gonna talk about the Haley Steinfeld thing?
There's an unhinged clip of Haley Steinfeld going around on Instagram, which I've seen.
Is it the line about?
Yeah, it
yeah.
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I won't spoil it here. I mean, if you're on the internet, you've probably seen it. But yeah, it's wonderful. I would say my only critique of the flick is it's maybe 15 minutes too long. Just like when we get to the end, there's a couple of endings. It was very Return of the King that way. I'm like, all right, let's get to the credits, and there's a post-credit scene, and that goes for about 10 minutes. So, but it's really cool. And I could see them doing a lot more with this if they decide to expand it out. I don't think they will. I think Ryan Coogler's kind of happy to just have a standalone flick. But yeah, it's really quite great, and deserves all the praise.
Is there any source material that it comes from, or it's a complete fresh standalone new script?
No, it's original. It's original. Like, he was, and Ryan Coogler was like, I haven't made a non-franchise movie in like a decade. Like, he's made 2 Black Panther films. He's made a couple of Creed movies. He was like, I just wanted to go back and create my own thing. And yeah, it's really cool. Like, there's a lot of practical effects. Like, the CGI is quite minimal. The music is fantastic. There's this kid in it. Can't remember his name, but he plays like a blues singer, and he has a moment where like he does this musical number, and this guy's voice is incredible. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but like it kind of is used to then explore the history of African American music through the ages. So like it starts with him playing, and then his music, I think, kind of allows him to kind of connect with souls and the timeline of music. Like, it's not a big plot point, so it's not really a spoiler, but they did this whole like montage thing, and it's amazing. It's like, to me, it's like the standout scene of the film. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I have heard it's really good, and that kind of seals it for me. I was like holding off. I'm like, do I go see it? And there's like a session on Sunday that I think I'll book in for. So thanks, James.
It's I'll say this. This is the thing that shocked me the most. Cinema was full. I haven't been to a full cinema maybe since Spider-Man No Way Home. And even that wasn't entirely full because there were still some like restrictions, some COVID restrictions. So the last time I probably went to a full cinema, honestly, was Avengers Endgame.
Mm.
So like first time in about 6 years, and it was packed. Like there was not a look. I had to move down because some guys came in late, and they're like, "Hey, we know that's your seat, but can you move so we can all sit together?" And I was like, "Well, you asked nicely, so sure." Like it was packed to the and it was hot. I guess like they hadn't had to use the air conditioner in the theaters properly for a while because they're so empty. Like I was sweating. It was so hot in
Oh,
there, but it
wow.
was yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool flick. And I recommend everyone go see it.
What was the other one that you said that you went to see?
Last night I went and saw Thunderbolts, the new Marvel film, and I'm actually going to the movies tomorrow night as well. I've had a good run actually. I'm going to see Until Dawn tomorrow, which is a horror movie. But yeah, I went to see Thunderbolts, the new Marvel movie. It was opening night technically, so I was like, let's get in there before all the spoilers come out. And it's really fun. It's a really enjoyable flick. So Thunderbolts is kind of like Marvel's Suicide Squad. At least that's the way they kind of marketed it. So you've got Yelena from Black Widow and Hawkeye. You've got Red Guardian from Black Widow, which is a really good inclusion because he brings a lot of levity to the flick. You've got John Walker, who was the bad Captain America in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You've got Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. You've got Taskmaster from Black Widow. It's a lot of Black Widow characters. And then you've got Julie Louis-Dreyfus, who plays obviously Elaine in Seinfeld, is kind of like playing an evil Nick Fury, and she's been doing that for a few films now in the Marvel universe. And basically, I'm going to tread lightly because it's just open, so I don't want to spoil too much. But basically, all these anti-hero villains kind of cross paths on similar missions, and then are forced to kind of team up to get out of a sticky situation. And I don't want to say too much because it is opening weekend, and when it comes to Marvel spoilers, people lose their minds, myself included. A lot of people are referring it to like a return to form and like Marvel's back. I never thought Marvel went away. I think like since Endgame obviously set the bar really high. I've enjoyed everything they've done since Endgame. I think people need to remember that once you get used to really good quality stuff, your expectations are going to keep getting higher to the point where maybe you set your expectations too high. I get it if people didn't like some of the Marvel stuff, like they have been taking big swings and trying different things, but I've liked everything. But this definitely felt like the most agenda driven film in a while. Like it was the same thing from start to finish. It knew what it wanted to be. It was surprisingly grounded for a film about superheroes that can do all sorts of special things. It felt more in line with like the Captain America films, like the tone of those films. Um, and it did a really interesting thing where instead of being a huge action film, and it's got some really great action set pieces, but the third act it really dives into mental health and the duality of what it means to be good versus bad. Like, because all of these characters are kind of these anti-heroes or former villains, and they kind of are forced to get somewhat introspective and like maybe we need to start taking care of ourselves and forgiving ourselves, and then we can maybe be better heroes. And it's really quite fascinating, and that's not a spoiler. Like you kind of get that from the trailer as well. But they dive into it in a really interesting way that we haven't really seen in a superhero film before, so I quite liked that.
That's really interesting. Like it's cool to hear that they're kind of pushing in a bit of a new direction or just trying some new things, because I guess we're now, when did Spider-Man 1 come out? Was that 2001, 2002?
2002.
So we're like 20 odd years into superhero films being
you get
blockbuster films.
X-Men in 2000, and if you want to go further back, Blade in 98. But let's say X-Men is when we get the family-friendly ones, yeah.
And so it's kind of like not just that we've seen the same thing quite a lot, but it's kind of we're in the post becoming a superhero world, and so it's kind of like you do want to, it's time to move past just this person has a traumatic origin story and then they have superpowers. It's really interesting to hear about like what's the effect on their mental health, or what's that like. So no, that's really interesting.
They've dealt with it a little bit, like the Hawkeye TV show. Like they kind of dealt with Hawkeye. He had to kind of like, if you haven't seen it, first of all, it's brilliant. It's maybe the best show they've done. You kind of deal with Hawkeye just being a guy. It's like, I fought a purple alien and my family got dusted for 5 years, and I went on like this murderous rampage, and now I have to figure out if I'm a good guy or not. And there's this teenage girl who wants to be me. Like that's quite an introspective show, but it's also very fun. But yeah, so it definitely feels different, but also quite familiar in a very good way. It's definitely setting up the next Avengers film. Like, I don't think that's a spoiler. I think we're expecting this is the final one of Phase 5, so we are leading towards Doomsday now. There are 2 post-credit sequences. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil them here. One is a jokey one, which they always do, a jokey one, which is it's pretty funny. And then the second one like really sets up some cool stuff, and I won't obviously give that away, but it's very cool. And before the movie, I'll quickly say this, and then we'll get on to the topic at hand. There's some really good trailers. So I finally saw the Fantastic Four trailer in the theater, and that blew my nuts off. I was like, this is the best thing in the world. I was like, I'm so excited for Fantastic Four. This is amazing. And then I saw a trailer for Karate Kid Legends, which is the new Karate Kid film, which is like
Didn't even know that was coming out.
So it's merging the original 80s franchise with the reboot that had Jackie Chan. I haven't seen, and I'm going to lose so much credibility here, I haven't seen a single Karate Kid film. I haven't watched Cobra Kai. Like, that is just a foreign notion to me. I've never been involved in.
You never, like, on a school, like,
I didn't wax on. I didn't wax off. I didn't sweep the leg.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen the first one. I've seen the OG.
Yeah.
I've seen the OG.
Yeah, like I don't think it's one of those franchises where it's like, oh, you haven't seen the Karate Kid extended universe, but just that, it's kind of.
Yeah, it was just never on my radar. But
I mean,
will
we
say,
all have those, those kind of ones that we've all never seen. But yeah, it's just. Yeah, you should watch it. It's fucking good.
No, I do want to watch it, and I really want to watch it now because this trailer is incredible. This Karate Kid Legends flick looks amazing. I'm so on board for it. So I'll try and sweep the leg before that movie comes out. Daniel's son. But anyway,
you'll love that. Well, I don't know what they would call the kick that he does at the end of the first one, but it's elite.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'll be able to watch all the movies and the TV show, but I'll definitely try and watch at least the OG before heading into it. But it looks cool. Like, it looks like, even though I have no emotional connection to it, when Ralph Macchio shows up in the trailer, because that's not a spoiler, like, he's in there, I was like, oh, I had like even though I've got no emotional connection, I got emotional. I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. I like what they're doing here. It feels like a love letter to this franchise, even though I have no context for it. Like, I could kind of pick up on what they're trying to do. So anyway, I went to the movies a lot, clearly. I'll talk about Until Dawn on the next episode, but I think that's all the movies we're going to talk about. Is that right? For this part of the show. Maddie, do you want to take the lead and tell us what we're getting ourselves into today?
Yeah, so we've been, what were we doing? We were brainstorming and thinking of some different ideas for different podcasting apps that we really wanted to do. And we had, Mickey 17, and we had a few other ones that might still be down the pipeline, but we all unanimously agreed that we wanted to do one for International Women's Day. And we wanted to film it close to the day. And then, of course, life is just interesting. And I think each of us ended up having to postpone the episode for different reasons. I think all of us ended up, having.
Not me. Apparently, I've got no social life. I was like, I can do this day. I can do this day.
Oh, well, I can't remember. I'm like, maybe you were sick, or I don't even know. But yes, unfortunately, it got pushed. And so finally, we are here. We are here for our official first ever I Was a Teenage Film Snob Pod Squad International Women's Day episode.
That's a long acronym. IWATF. IWATFSIWD.
We can't call it I Was a Teenage Film Snob Does the Ladies. So we can't call it that.
I would not be upset if we did call it that.
Is that the name of this week's episode?
No, it is not. No, we can do better.
It's not.
No.
It is not a pun on a movie title, so it's not valid.
I'm sure we'll figure out something along the way about, excellent deep dive. So I put forward the suggestion that I wanted everyone to bring one. Obviously, we always want to start with one badass, one really, really, fun, badass, assertive, character and performance. Then I said that I really wanted the boys. I was interested to see what their take on was a really, really like moving or inspirational or just a really glorious, gorgeous performance. So something that, the performance of someone that really spoke to them. So it didn't matter if it was the lead. It could be a supporting character. It could be a cameo. Doesn't matter, but just a performance of a female in a really interesting role. And then lastly, I said that I wanted to hear about just an important character in cinema that was presented, just to really, really get a great cross section and just to see, what you guys really respond to. Because clearly, as a female, I respond to female characters in a very different way than how you respond to them. And so I really want to see what you come up with. I really want to get to know both of you a bit more through, I guess, that way, and which ladies you really champion from cinema.
I was just thinking before we started recording, you were like, I didn't know how to respond to you, James, for a year. And now it seems like 6 years on, you still don't know.
No, it's not.
He likes boob jokes.
My friend. I love you dearly, my friend. But I know you've got some really great insight and some great things to say, and I'm going to make you say them because I'm a bully.
Well, that's very sweet. I've had lots of people saying nice things to me today. I don't know how to handle it. This ego of mine's going to get too big. Quickly chop me down.
You can cut you down. It's fine. Nick, you can cut him down too. I'm sure of it. You got some zingers.
I suppose before we get specifically into the lists that we've put together, probably interested to hear from you, Maddie, but as well, James. Like, do you think that we're doing well, or the industry is doing well by women in film at the moment, the way it's portrayed, and I guess the industry wider? I would say there's probably still a long way to go, but I actually came with research and stats here, but I just thought I'd want to get your take on it.
Do you want us to answer first, or do you want to rattle off your stats first?
Like, when I say stats, I don't mean like, this percentage of like film has women or something like that, but like, are you both aware of what the Bechdel test is?
Yes.
Bechdel.
Yes. The Bechdel test. I think it's
is it Bechdel?
Yeah. It's not mansplaining if I explain it to you. Is that right?
I would value that, because
we're just going to recap. We're recapping what the Bechdel test is.
Yes, yeah.
So it's not like, I wouldn't say it's like shooting for the stars here. It's still pretty basic, but the criteria I found for it was there's two named female characters, which is again pretty low bar.
Yep.
The two characters must have conversation with each other, and the conversation cannot be about men.
Yeah.
Okay, so I found this great chart, and in the 1970 to 74, which is when this chart starts, 25% of films passed the Bechdel test.
Okay.
It seems quite low.
Well, if you think about your big franchise movies, like Star Wars only had one girl in it for the longest time. Like Lord of the Rings has plenty of women, but most of them don't ever. Like Frodo doesn't even know Legolas's name. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is tough. Like Matrix, I don't think we really have. I think Trinity talks to the blonde girl who has a name, but I've forgotten her name. We failed the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
So I don't think they were like, "Ooh, Neo." I think like they just talked about like we have to survive. So that counts.
Yeah. So
Tell me, is the graph like rising? Are we absolutely like now hitting? Where are we at now?
So this graph, this data finished in 2014. So it's still, this is 10 years old, but the most recent figure from 2014 was only 50% of films passing that test.
So we've made progress.
We have made progress.
And if you think about Hollywood and filmmaking, I would say we only really started to try and get progressive in maybe the last 20 years. Like the 70s and 80s, not the most progressive time.
But I'd be keen to hear both of your thoughts on that. Maybe not so much those stats, but I just your like what your gut feel is on it.
I think.
No, I believe that.
Sorry,
Yeah,
go on.
my gut feeling definitely says we're improving and we're on the way up. And I think I mean, I don't know what the percentage would be, but I definitely am seeing more women having the important conversations in the film, or the women having the turning point conversations or action that is then spurring on the narrative more, rather than them not driving that or being on the outer. So I'm definitely experiencing and noticing that more, which is awesome.
And to go behind the camera, we're seeing a lot more women taking on directorial roles, including Coralie Fargeau, who got nominated for Best Director with The Substance this year. Having Demi Moore nominated, and like, because there has been, I don't think it's a secret, there's been a sense of ageism in Hollywood, where men get these meaty roles forever, but as soon as a woman hits 35, it's kind of like, okay, where's the next? That's kind of been the stock standard. So to have someone like Demi Moore be able to take a leading role and play such an important role in that movie, and I want to say she's pushing 60. I'm not quite sure of the stats there. I think we are getting better. I think we are. We're seeing a lot more women behind the camera, operating the camera, like getting involved in sound and editing. We're seeing a lot more, like Quentin Tarantino's longtime editor was Sally Menke. He's been doing it longer than anyone. Kind of. So we are seeing, I think, more powerful female voices.
Yeah, and I think what's nice to see is like women are becoming more like stakeholders in as an audience. And actually, I was talking about this with my partner, and she pointed out Barbie, which is really important to a lot of particularly millennial girls, but it's kind of doing for girls what I guess the rise of comic book movies have done for men. And I'm not saying that comic books are exclusively a male dominant orientated thing, but it was for girls. It was a massive success. It wasn't trivializing it. Tackled some like pretty meaty subjects. So I just think, as a stakeholder group, maybe they're also a bit more prominent and being catered to a little bit more.
I mean, it's insane because women make up 51% of the population. Like, that's a huge chunk of your audience you're not catering to.
There's a lot more money to be made if you make us happy. Yep.
Yeah, and I think we probably saw it first, maybe not first, but I think there was a really big push in 2017 with Wonder Woman as well. Like, that was obviously a very important film, directed by Patty Jenkins as well, showing a strong female character. But it wasn't just about her being a superhero. It was about her having that kindness, and that kind of could be a figure of love and care as well, which is not a uniquely female trait. Like, and that's something we need to move away from a bit more. We can show women being tough and men being gentle. Like, that's okay to do that. We can show more of that. But I think that film was very important in terms of I'm blanking on what I'm trying to say. Seeing yourself representation. That's the word I'm looking for in terms of representation. Seeing yourself on the screen. It took me so long to get to a very important word. Yeah.
I was thinking back to what my first few experiences, not as a young child, but like as a young adult, sort of big buzz films with female characters in that got really well received. And I just off the cuff, I remember Chicago with Renee, is it Renee Zellweger and
Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Oh my god, Zeta-Jones, yeah. And I remember that being really quite big and doing quite well, and that was really, really female driven, and the female audience really, really responded to that. And I remember also Meryl Streep in Devil's Wear Prada, it still crops up. Like, it's still so iconic and relevant, and it's a classic in my household and with my sister and my mother. And I remember that film. I don't know if it smashed any like box office like stats or anything, but I remember lots and lots of women really, really responding to just that character and seeing that character. And so I thought that was really cool. In my 20s, I don't know. Yeah,
it's just a banger of a film too. Doesn't hurt.
it's good. very quotable too, actually. Very, very quotable film.
Are they doing a sequel to that? Sorry.
There's I think two books in the series, and I think they wanted to maybe pick up the second book, which is a follow-on sequel, but I don't know if it's been picked up properly.
Which one's this one? So you mentioned a couple of films. I'm just Devil Wears Prada. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Devil Wears Prada. Yeah. I don't know if it's been picked up, but any film with Meryl Streep and Stanley Tucci in it, I'll jump on board. Take my money.
Please.
Yes. And he's actually what a champion of female in cinema and really female-centric films he is. He's so involved.
I always think of Easy A when I think of Stanley Tucci. That's my go-to, because that's a very empowering film, and so very much about owning sexuality, and it's okay to question the norms and push the envelope. But also, and I want to say it's Patricia someone plays his wife. I can't believe I've forgotten her name now.
Arquette?
No, not Patricia Arquette.
No, okay.
But their kind of take on parenting and what it means to be a loving family and stuff. I think they're one of the best examples maybe ever of parents. If Bingo and if Chili and Bandit are the animated best parents, then Stanley Tucci and his wife in Easy A are the live action version of that.
You're talking about the scene where they're at the dinner table and their adoptive son is like, "I'm adopted," and Stanley goes, "Who told you?"
And and he's African American.
It's clearly of a different skin color.
But there's some really wonderful moments. I rewatched that probably in the last year, and it's really wonderful.
That's a good fun film. Emma Stone, she's great.
That is her. I want to say her second movie. She does Superbad. She does that, and then 5 years later or something, she wins an Academy Award for La La Land.
Hang on, but didn't she do something about didn't she do a university film, not House Bunny or?
I haven't seen House Bunny.
Because she was quite young.
She did Zombieland.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
She did a bunch of stuff. She did quite a few things, and then La La Land, and now she's making weird arty films with Yorgos Lanthimos, which is a very specific niche. It happens to be my niche, so I'm here for it, but it's not everyone's.
Well, she's won 2 Oscars now, right?
Yeah, I did not put Poor Things on my list today, although I will defend that film. I think that's a very misunderstood film, and I do think
I didn't finish it actually.
Really?
I wouldn't say I didn't like it or anything. I just didn't finish it. Yeah.
It's pretty long.
Maybe, yeah. I think maybe I sort of felt a bit like Gulliver's Travels. It did feel like it got long and it started to get weirder and then weirder and then weirder, and I just wasn't hanging on anymore.
It was one of the most uncomfortable what was maybe the most uncomfortable I've been in a cinema. I was like, I feel like I should be watching this at home. I feel I shouldn't be watching this movie around strangers. This is a weird one to watch
out in public.
People. Yeah, because it goes out there.
It's graphic.
It is graphic. And then she did Kinds of Kindness last year with Yorgos, and that's really graphic as well. Yeah, she's entered this weird phase where she's just doing all these weird movies, and I'm here for it.
Well, all right, list time.
James,
I want you to go first with why don't we do our badass ladies first and we do our one each. James, you can go first, an intro. Who have you got, my friend?
I was really torn. First of all, when we originally came up with this, or when you came with this, I thought it was 3 answers for each one. I was like, okay, this is easy. And then it was like, no, 1 answer for each. So I'm really torn. I wrote down 2 names. I'm going to tell you what the 2 names are, and then I'm going to...
You know what I love? I love that you're torn. That is good. Nick, did you have trouble narrowing it down to 1 for each category?
I did. The correct
answer.
Particularly in this one, I was like, tossing up. But then I just went for the baddest badass that I was tossing up. So I haven't. Mine is anyway, this is James's time to shine.
So I just went with. I didn't go for a character or a performance for this. I just went for someone in the world of film, just a real human who was a badass. And I was torn between 3. And I had someone from the past who I'm like, they laid the groundwork, so therefore I want to honor them. I had someone from maybe the last 30 years, and then someone from today. So I had Hedy Lamarr, who was an actress
Wow.
and is the inventor of Bluetooth and like helped in the war and all that sort of stuff. But I didn't choose her because I figured, yes, we want to honor who came first, but let's make it a bit modern. I was really torn between Nev Campbell and
Yep.
Anna Kendrick. And I'm gonna go with Nev. I think Anna Kendrick is a badass. I love that she's a director now. I love the stories she's telling. I don't love what she went through to get to this point in Hollywood, but I love that she's taking what happened to her and using it as a means to tell these stories and raise awareness and kind of change the narrative and kind of into a more positive. But I'm going with Nev because Nev, it was a little Canadian girl from nowhere and kind of burst on the scene in the 90s and helped redefine an entire genre where the Scream Queen, the modern version of the Scream Queen in horror, is no longer a damsel in distress, but a smart thinking, like ass kicking woman who can hold her own against anyone. And she didn't do it just once; she did it 5 times. And then, if that weren't enough to be the face of one of the biggest franchises in history, which is led by a woman, when the 6th movie came, the studio lowballed her. They're like, it's a 6th movie, we're not going to offer you more money. In fact, we're going to offer you less. And instead of taking it, she was like, well, then I'm not in this movie. Like she pretty much like bent the studio over. Was like, no, I'm not going to take it. I'm standing my ground. If you don't think I'm worth it, then fine, make the movie without me. But I'm not going to do it. I'm holding my ground. And she left. And then like the movie was kind of surrounded with controversy. It performed okay, but now the 7th movie is back. They're like, we threw all the money at Nev. Like, so she held out, and like now she's coming back in this new film. But like she stuck up for herself, and she knew her value, and she was like, no, I've been in this franchise for 30 years. I worked with arguably one of the greatest masters of horror, Wes Craven. Like we created this thing. I know what I'm worth, and just because I'm older and you're trying to do this new version of it, what, I'm not worth it anymore? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. So because she dug her heels in against directors and producers and an entire studio, and eventually won, I'm giving it to Nev.
Oh, well done.
Very good, James.
Like
I
a
like your
pitch
rationale.
almost.
So
Yeah.
was that Nev the actress, or Nev?
She's the
like,
actress.
or you're giving it to her character?
I'm giving it to the actress Nev
Okay.
Campbell, the actual real. Yeah. So my three examples were real people who have done real things. I was like,
cool. Okay, I
yeah.
like that spin on it. Mine is a character.
Yes,
Mine-
go.
Mine is Lisbeth Salander from the Girl with a Dragon Tattoo
Nice.
series. I don't know if have you both seen those movies or read any of the books?
I've only seen the Fincher movie, so the remake
Fincher
with Daniel
one, yeah.
Craig.
Maddie, have you seen them at all?
No, but I'm a big Rooney Mara fan, and I heard that she, absolutely smashed that performance.
Yeah, actually, like, so unless there's some other adaptation I haven't seen, Lisbeth Salander has been played by Claire Foy, Rooney Mara, and Noomi. I think it's Rapace. Yeah, I'm not sure how to say her surname.
Yeah, Claire Foy was it the Girl with the Spider's Web or something?
Yeah.
Did we all say that together?
Maybe.
I think we did.
They're all good, and all three of those actresses are great at playing the character. But Lisbeth Salander, I really like because she went through some pretty traumatic things, but doesn't let that define her. And we find in the first of the Dragon Tattoo movies, we find her as a computer hacker who has made it her mission to take down abusive men. So she'll sort of hack into their bank accounts or even break into their house and turn the tables on them. And she gets caught up in this overarching storyline, which we don't have time to get into. But yeah, she's just a real badass who wasn't defined by her trauma. And really cool character.
Amazing. Okay, I do need to watch it. I wanted to watch it. It's like the same thing. I want to watch those sort of films, and then I just other things.
And these ones,
I would say she's
they're
like a
dark,
less
so-
violent. She's like a less violent Jigsaw. Like that's kind of how I view her.
yeah. So yeah, they're not just like, oh, I'll pop that on. Yeah, you've got to really be up
No,
for the.
no, they're not. I've only seen the two, and oh my god, like no.
Is she quotable? Has she got some really good one-liners or anything that you can hook me in?
I can't think of any. Sorry, guy. I don't know why I didn't have. I should have come prepared with that.
I can only think of one line, and it's because we used to quote it when I worked selling DVDs, and it's not the best line, but there's a line where she's like, "Take off your pants," and like just the delivery is so funny. But like knowing the context of that film, it's like, that's not the line you want to remember. Like,
it's probably not what she says; it's more what she does. And
yeah.
She takes revenge on someone who did a very grave ill to her by shoving something where you wouldn't want it. So
it's tough. Like,
I shouldn't make light of that. It's like awful, but
oh no, I wasn't doing that to you. I was just giving Maddie the heads up. Like it's tough to watch. Like
yeah, it's not something for like a Sunday afternoon watch. Gotcha.
No. I don't know if you're ever in the mood to watch it. I think it's just like you kind of have to like almost be like, all right, I'm going to prepare myself for this film, and then we're going to enjoy some sweet revenge after some pretty horrible stuff. Yeah.
All right, I have to be emotionally stable.
Good luck. I've got it though. I've got the remake. I've got the Fincher version. If you ever want to borrow it, you've got a couple of my movies at the moment. So when you're done with them,
yeah. How about I watch the ones you've lent me first, and then that's my reward. I can do a little like video store switch, drop some off, pick some up.
Yeah, I'll be like, you got late fees, kiddo.
That Fincher one is probably the most accessible of the Swedish ones are good, but like, geez, they don't pull any punches. So.
I have not been able to get my hands on that trilogy. Like it's always like when I go like thrifting and stuff, they've always got like 2 of the 3, and I'm like, no, I don't want to buy them and then not be able to get them. So I think I'm going to order just a box set of the 3 from the UK, and then I can watch them all. Because I haven't seen the originals, but I have seen the remake, and the remake is very good, albeit very disturbing. What was yours, Maddie?
I, again, same as you guys, I struggled because I was like, what do I classify as badass? So, like, do I have a person working in cinema? Do I have a absolute amazing standalone character who is relatable? Or do I have one that's like just like kicking ass? So I had lots of trouble, and I kept tossing up between Sarah Connor, Princess Leia, and Erin Brockovich, which they all kind of have a bit of crossover, a bit of similarity to them. So in the end, I guess it must just be, my stage of life that I'm in, and I'm putting Erin Brockovich at the top.
Nice.
So Julia Roberts, Erin Brockovich. And I'd have to classify her as a badass, but more like a ball breaker. Yeah. Like that's what I would put her down to, because she's just like unapologetic. She absolutely takes up all the electricity in the room. She calls people out, doesn't care, to be, light-footing around anyone. She will elbow her way through to protect her family. She becomes this amazing like defender of these people because she's so sick of being walked over and treated like a doormat that suddenly it's like her personal crusade to stand up for these, these people that have been absolutely, mistreated and poisoned by the companies around their housing estate. And every situation that she's in, she's standing up tall. She's got her shoulders back. She doesn't lower her chin. She doesn't lower her voice. Like, she's an absolute ball breaker, and I just adored it the first time I saw it, and it's held up every time I watch it. I really like it. Really like her.
Such a good choice, and you're so right. And like the strength of character because at the start of that film, she's not in a great spot, isn't she? She's struggling to make the rent, and she really pulls herself up by her own bootstraps and makes like an amazing career out of just this single. I haven't seen it in ages, but she gets like an opportunity to be, is it like the office manager or reception or something like that at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
at the
So
law
she gets
firm?
into a law firm and manages to start pursuing this case that just sort of went a bit cold and sort of forgotten about, and so she really starts to uncover things just through her own tenacity, and it just snowballs and snowballs and snowballs, and I just like that roughness about her. I really, really dig it. Yeah.
Well, you get it. This is a twofer because it's based on a real story as well. Like she's a real person, so you get character. Nick and I didn't have the forethought. I'll be like, I'll go with a real person. Nick's like, I'll go with a character, and you're like, boys, this is how it's done. True story.
It's such a good story that
Yeah.
sometimes you forget that it really happened, and you forget that she was really like that. And I'm sure, like Julie Andrews. Oh my gosh, Julia Roberts is not.
Could you imagine Julie Andrews as Aaron Brockovich?
Could you? Oh my god, that would be the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
They're called
so proper.
boobs, Edward. Yeah.
Bosoms.
Bosoms.
That's the next T-shirt. We're not naming the episode. They're called boobs, Ed.
I figured Julie Anderson would go full name, go full Christian name, call him Edward. Yeah.
It's got I forgot who else is in that film. She gets a boyfriend along the way, and he's like a bit of a bikie, but he's like a heart of gold, bit of a tender, soft spiky.
I haven't watched it in 20 years. Is it Benjamin Bratt? Like that's my initial thought.
So I can't tell you the name, but he's the guy that plays Two-Face in Batman. Harvey Two-Face. Who's that actor?
Oh, Aaron Eckhart.
Beautiful, yes, beautiful
Aaron
blonde
Eckhart.
guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's him pretending to be a bikie.
Yeah.
Which is just
he wears like a bandana and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah. But he ends up having like a heart of gold and like looks after her kids and like takes them to birthday parties and like
it is Aaron.
She rejects him in the end or something, doesn't she?
Oh, I think she probably just gets shit pissed off with him a couple of times throughout the film. But he's like a Labrador bikie. He's so sweet.
He is. Bikie with a heart of gold.
How did I not know this was a Steven Soderbergh film? How did I not know this?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's very Soderbergh-y.
I got to go back and rewatch it, man. I haven't seen it in 20 years.
It's just fun, and you just at every turning point of the story, you're like, yes.
That was the first movie I watched that had lots of naughty language in it. I was like, because there's a lot of cursing in that flick, and I remember I told my dad I watched it. I was like, "Why would you watch something with all that swearing?" And I was like, "No, Mum let me."
You're like, because it's an important story, Father.
Yeah, I was like, because they're called boobs, Dad. Like,
no, really, really good. All right,
really wonderful flick. Yeah.
Next one, James. I want you to tell me about a performance that you like were really impressed with, or it really resonated with you, or it broke your heart, or just a performance that has stuck with you. Tell me.
Another tough one, like really tough. I could have gone with any member of the cast of Steel Magnolias and probably made an excellent case for it. A movie that you recommended to me a few years back, and I watched and I bawled my eyes out. I'm going to go back to the world of horror. And I'm going to Toni Collette, who I think is maybe the most underappreciated actress of this generation. She's given so many wonderful performances and never a sniff of a nomination. I could go Sixth Sense. I think that would be a worthy one, but I'm going with the more recent one, which I think a lot of people are familiar with, and that's Hereditary. So for those who haven't seen Hereditary, good luck. It is maybe the most terrifying film I've ever seen in my life. And it's about this family that is growing apart. Mum and dad don't seem to really love each other anymore. The eldest son is just trying to get away from everyone because he's a teenager. He wants to have his own life. And the youngest daughter is odd, to be kind. She's very odd and stuff like that. So they're kind of growing apart. And then there's a death in the family. The matriarch of the family passes away. And instead of it being an opportunity for them to, kind of bond and get closer and fill their house with love, they kind of turn away from each other more. And then like horrible things start happening. But if there is a heart in this film, it is Toni Collette. Like, she is trying so hard to keep her family together and stop them from falling apart. And then there's a big moment about halfway in the film. I won't spoil it, even though it's a 6-year-old movie or 7-year-old movie. A huge shocking moment, and her response is maybe the most raw and honest portrayal of grief I've seen in a film. And you don't even see her for half of it. It's about a 30-second clip, and it cuts from scene to scene to scene, and you just see her going through these different stages of grief, and it's just her screaming. And it's not like a scream of terror, it's this guttural, heartbreaking, I have experienced loss and I have nothing left in me. So I'm just screaming, and this is my pain. And it's so heartbreaking. And like, it's still, I've seen that movie once. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. It's so dark and bleak, but she is incredible in it. Because just this perfect portrayal of a mother just trying to do her best. And yeah, that film like sat with me. Like, I remember I went and saw that movie, and I went out for dinner that night for my mum's birthday, ironically enough, and I could barely put two words together. I was so overwhelmed with just the bleakness of it and her incredible performance. Like, it's transcendent. And I know that's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but it really is. I've never seen a performance like it. And to have no recognition by any formal academy at all is infuriating. Yeah.
It does feel like a bit of a crime the further we get from that movie and from that year, doesn't it?
I don't know if either of you have seen Hereditary, but
yeah.
I can't do scary movies. I'm too much of a wuss.
There's definitely stuff you can do. I'll help curate you a list if you do want to delve into the world of horror. I would not recommend starting with Hereditary.
No, I wouldn't either. I watched it because I recall the day you told me about it on a previous iteration of your podcasts. And you should be marketing these movies, because I remember exactly what you said. You said something happened about halfway through that was like the most shocking thing you've ever seen in a film, or the darkest, or something like that. And I'm like, oh well, now I'm not a massive horror fan, but I just need to know what this is now. And
I would put it like I would put it like, it's not even on par, but like the previous record holder for that was the ending of The Mist. That was the darkest, most bleak thing I'd seen. This trumps it. Like, this trumps it.
Yeah. But I think great pick, James. It's definitely a memorable performance that stays with you. That's for sure.
Yeah, she's brilliant in it. And it's crazy she doesn't get the recognition she deserves. Like, the fans do, the genre fans definitely do, but the people who are voting and giving out awards seem to have missed out, Miss Colette's wonderful, wonderful abilities. So yeah.
Okay, is that over to me?
Yeah, go over to you, Nick.
Shall I lighten this up a little bit?
Yeah, please do. Because like Muriel's wedding.
The performance that really stayed with me is actually, or one of the, I should say, is actually from a comedy.
Good.
And it is, and bear with me, because I'll justify this. It's Mona Lisa Vito, who's played by Marissa Tomei in My Cousin Vinny.
Yes.
And I just love this performance because she's initially... Oh, sorry, Maddie, have you seen this film?
No, but James and Tina love it. And I remember talking to them on the phone once, and they were just like finishing watching it or something.
Yeah.
No, I can tell you what it was. It was the week before we flew out to Scotland. You were over to hang out with Tina for the last time. You were leaving for the night, and I was watching My Cousin Vinny in bed. And Tina was like, can you pause it? Because we're getting to the Marissa Tomei scene. I'll say goodbye to Maddie, and then we'll watch the end together.
Yes. And I was like, okay, I need to watch this, because Joe Pesci, yeah?
It is Joe Pesci, yeah.
I love him. So I'm like, damn it, okay, yeah.
It's super funny, and it's a lovely film. It's just really sweet, and I'll try and keep this spoiler free, but essentially she's written off by the people of this town as not a serious person. She's got her Queens, New York accent, which I think is what
I think
Margot
she's
Robbie.
from Jersey, isn't she? Isn't she from New Jersey?
Maybe. Thanks for just ruining the.
Sorry.
Sorry. I'm joking, James.
I'm thinking of the good old the Jersey accent or the Fran Fine.
She's got the big hair.
Yeah.
You'll hear the word a Nissan Skylark.
Yeah.
And she saves the day in this courtroom. I'll try not to spoil it, but with her incredible knowledge of cars. But what's really what I really like about the performance is she really like stays true to who she is and what she wants, and she's not just there as like an add-on to Joe Pesci in the film. I don't know if I could say much more without spoiling it, but it's such a great she's such a great character and great performance, and turns out to be the hero of the film. So definitely check it out, Maddie.
I reckon I'll be giggling all the time at just the accent and I reckon I don't know anything about it, but is there a scene where she definitely like lays into him or yells like
multiple times?
Yeah, a lot.
And she yells at him. I love those movies where the Italian ladies or the Jersey ladies or whatever lay into somebody else.
There's a lot of that.
Like honestly, when I was watching Anora earlier this year, I was like, I think Mikey Madison was watching My Cousin Vinny. Like I think she took it like, I'm not saying she like, he was like, oh, this is how you do it, but I think there was definitely maybe some inspiration from that performance. So you can see elements of Mona Lisa.
Yeah, the attitude, definitely.
Yeah. We should watch it together. It's such a great movie. Yeah. It's so fun. Like the entire cast is excellent. What my favorite scene is that scene that you're talking about, Nick. But I would say a close second is when Joe Pesci shows up to the prison for the first time.
Yes. Yeah, and the boys think he's like some gangster in there to like do bad things.
It's a masterclass in writing, like in terms of dialogue, jokes, without giving up. Like it's so. I'm trying to explain it. Like it's just so well written without them giving away the joke to you. Like it's hard to explain, but if you watch, you'll know what I mean. Just like, oh my god, like they're not spelling it out. You're just like enjoying this whole dialogue. It's wonderful, and that's got Ralph Macchio as well. Though I haven't seen The Karate Kid, but I've seen My Cousin Vinny multiple times.
That's so good. I'm glad that you found a character that isn't the lead, but she absolutely holds her own. Good on you. That's cool.
And she did win an Oscar for that performance.
Oh, really?
Did she? Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, there's a whole Seinfeld joke about it, like where George Costanza's like obsessed with Marissa Tomei because she likes bald men. Anyway.
So I, had so many floating around my head, and the first one that I thought of was I couldn't narrow it down to any one particular. So my honorable mention is the cluster collection of all the women in Greta Gerwig's Little Women. And I just wanted to be in there. I just want to be one of the sisters around the swarming hive of all the women in that film because it's glorious. I love everything about it. But then I was like, I'm going to pick one. I have to pick something. I have to pick one. And I hadn't watched this film in ages. And then I saw a clip like on Instagram and I was like, I think I've seen that film. I might go back and watch it. And so this was like a while back that like I watched it again. And so, it came to the forefront of my mind, but it's a Charlize Theron film called North Country.
I don't think I've ever seen this. No, I don't think I've heard of it.
No. So if you're coming away with anything from this episode, this film is incredible in terms of like the female experience and also the cast. The cast is gorgeous, and it's one of the only films that I've ever seen where Sean Bean doesn't die. So like, if you want to watch, like, oh no, Sean Bean's in it, but he doesn't die. And there's like Woody Harrelson Woody Harrelson's character in this is just, you want to give him this warm hug and just say thank you for being here. You're just so great. Frances McDormand's in it. Jeremy Renner plays like the slimeball bad guy. Wow. Like it's weird seeing him in that role. Richard Jenkins, Sissy Spacek, Sean Bean, as I said before, but Charlize Theron is the lead, and she's not glamorous and she's not powerful. She's like an absolute down on her luck mother, and she needs a job, so she gets a job working in the coal mine industry where her dad works. And like it's gut wrenching. It's heartbreaking. it is raw, it is cold, it is bleak, and then slowly you just get these little tiny steps towards like the weight being lifted off her shoulders. So I don't want to give away all these things that happen, but basically that like one of the, I don't know if it's a tagline for the film, but it's one of the main things that she says is, you know, I want to be able to go to work and not be afraid. Like all the women have to hang out in the women's bathroom. They can't really go and eat lunch in the main lunch area with all the men, and there's always things left in their lockers. Before they get a job at the mines, they have to go under a medical exam, and a doctor like checks them all out, which is just, it's disgusting in terms of like what they have to go through to even be to get a job. And then later on, like the men will talk about how the doctor said they looked great under their sheet, and like it's just, it's a really, it's not a happy film. I would put it that way. But Charlize Theron's performance is like so almost like lived in and authentic. She absolutely just recedes into this character, and she embodies this character so well. And there's often scenes where her eyes are just bloodshot because she's under so much stress, and um she's not a short lady. She's tall, isn't she?
I think so, yeah.
I'm sure she's a tall lady, but in this film you would never know it because of like the body language, the way she carries herself in this film. Um she's so just beaten down and then decides to stand up and tell the truth. And, you know, she doesn't care if she decides to take the company to court and Woody Harrelson's her lawyer, and she doesn't care if she's not going to win. It's the right thing to do to tell the truth. And, you know, the other women, some women stand with her, some women don't. Um, it's really, it's a really powerful film. And her performance through everything across the film is just, yeah, it's so lived in and believable and clearly dedicated. She's clearly dedicated to the character and what she's going through and the role. And yeah, really, really great cast, really good writing, gut-wrenching, but great. Yeah.
Sounds
Very
bleak,
cool.
but I'll put it on my list. It does sound good. Sounds interesting.
I was looking at that cast list while you're talking. It's insane. Like it's insane. It just kept going. It was yeah.
Yeah, and all the characters, it's not like they just sort of walk in and walk out. Like you really get the dynamics between, you know, Sean Bean's character and his wife, and Charlize Theron and their friendship relationship. Woody Harrelson is the lawyer, so you get that relationship. Jeremy Renner is, you know, a old high school popular boy from her past that ends up cropping back up again and haunting her again almost. And her relationship with her father and her mother, because she has to move back in with them. You get these really well-rounded relationships between them. They're not just sort of inconsequential. Almost everyone who's in the film is of consequence to Charlize's character. It's really good.
Nice. I mean, it doesn't sound nice at all, but like,
no,
good.
It's heavy, but it's brilliant. Yeah.
It sounds like we've had so many heavy picks today. I'm so glad.
Well, I was going to say a big theme of this seems to be resilience.
Yeah.
Which probably is a particularly female trait with a lot of the crap that gets thrown their way. But like, yeah, particularly with your two.
Yeah.
But we're all gravitating towards, women that can hold their own, women that aren't the damsels or aren't having to, you know, atone for anything. Or I'm liking this.
Well, I like that none of us are really picking quote unquote strong female characters that are just like female characters with traditionally masculine strengths. You know, like the people we're picking, like strong female characters in the sense, I guess, of I don't know what I'm trying to say. Hopefully,
strength of character.
Yeah.
I like that all of our ladies have been like authentic or intense or passionate or like sticking to their guns, their morals, and they're not flip-flopping with their personality and who they are. I like that they've all had the drive and the knowledge and the confidence sitting within who they are. I think that's really cool. All right, go on, Jums. Jums, your turn.
What is the last one again? This is the final topic.
Was it important? Was it important?
Important, yes.
Characters.
Important for cinema. So one that you think this was really important to have this sort of character or this type of character, or it was important that we saw this.
Yeah. I did know. I just wanted to give you the chance to say it. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I'm going back to the world of horror once more, because I feel like when it comes to rich, deep performances, great characters, strength, I feel like the genre of horror is very open for women. I feel like if you want to get a starring role, if you want to get a chance to kick some ass, if you want to get a chance to show what you can do, horror is just like there's always the doors have always been open. We want women to be in that role. I feel like in other genres, action quite competitive. We're starting to see more of it now where women get a chance, but for a long time a very male dominant genre. But horror has always welcomed women with open arms. And so I'm going for a lesser known film. It's really popular if you're into the genre, but I don't know if the average person would be familiar with it. A film called Reanimator. So this is a horror comedy from the mid 80s. I want to say 1985. It's a zombie film, but with a bit of a twist. Basically, it's based on a H.P. Lovecraft short story, and it's about this guy who's going to college, and he gets a weird, creepy new roommate, and his creepy new roommate has found a way to bring the dead back to life. And the strong character, the important character, which no one's talking about, is Megan Halsey, our main character's girlfriend, played by Barbara Crampton. And the reason why I think she's really important is in the 80s and 70s and 80s, particularly in horror, yes, we had lots of women, but they were mainly there to take their tops off. It was just like when we do slasher films, when we do monster films, we want big predatory monsters chasing young women with as little clothing on as possible. And yes, that does happen in this movie. However, she's also the strongest character in the film. The minute the creepy roommate walks in, she's the first one to clue in that, like, hey, maybe there's something not quite right about this guy. And her, like, jockish boyfriend is like, it's cool, don't worry about it. But she's like, no, we need to question things. And as the film progresses, not only does she keep questioning things, but she's actually instrumental in resolving the horror of the film. She's the one who is there. It's her quick thinking and planning and observation that brings us to the conclusion where horror is vanquished. Like without her, everything falls apart. And ultimately, spoilers for a 40-year-old movie, it's 40 years old this year, she pays the ultimate price because no one listens to her until it's too late. She's the one who ends up paying the worst price of all. But I think up until this point, we weren't seeing a lot of strong, smart, clued in female characters in this genre or in many genres. You know, when you do have good versus evil, whether it's in action or comedy or horror, your smart characters are always just older men. Whereas in this one, it was this young, like cute blonde girl with like, you know, kind of a bob haircut. And like she's smart, she's funny and sexy, but also smart and figuring out problems and has the balls to stand up to all the men in the film, including her boyfriend, including her father, including the professors who are like, you're wrong. And without her, like all hell would have broken loose, but she's like instrumental in resolving the conflict. And I think she kind of was one of the first to kick down the doors of like, yeah, let's get more smart women in these films. Like it doesn't just have to be dudes solving problems, which I really liked. So Barbara Crampton in Reanimator is my pick because no one's giving her flowers. You know, like there are other actresses in the genre who do get a lot of attention, like Nancy in Nightmare Before Elm Street. Nev Campbell, I mentioned before, gets a lot of praise, but this was kind of in amongst all of that around the same time in the 80s, and no one's talking about it, and she was doing some interesting things. So Barbara Crampton gets my vote.
Nice one, James.
Nice one, James. That's a little Harry Potter reference for you. Thanks, Sirius.
Shut up. No, it was good. It was nice and like it was a deep cut. That's what I like.
Yeah, who could have thought I would have gone horror for all three choices?
No, you've got to represent for horror. Good on you. So I don't watch any horror. So like I can't even like agree or be like I've seen a little bit. Like I am so shutting my eyes, running away, hands over ears, la 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 la.
You could
about
totally
horror.
watch
So,
Reanimator. Like it's an 80s zombie film. Like you could totally watch it. Like it's not too full on. It's not scary. It's a comedy as well. Like it's a horror comedy.
and then I ring you the next day being like, I couldn't sleep. What have you done?
Well,
And you
actually,
go,
there is a
now I know
sequence.
where you. Now I know where the line is for you.
There is a sequence in it you probably would get icked by, but it's not because it doesn't need to be discussed on the podcast.
Right. Okay.
It's icky in a different way.
Speaking of icky, go on, Nikki. Tell
Icky
me what.
Nicky.
I mean, that is one of the great segues I've ever been on the end of. Okay, my my important female character definitely has had her flowers. This is not a deep cut, but it's Clarice Sterling, who is the primary protagonist in Silence of the Lambs, played by probably one of my favorite actresses of all time in Jodie Foster. I just love her and everything. And she actually won an Oscar for this performance, which is that's 2 out of 3 of mine that have won Oscars. So suck on that, I guess.
Let's flip us off. Like,
I could hear him like just crossing off his checklist, like, yeah, beat them again, another Oscar for me. Nick only brings winners to the table.
yeah, he's easier to win. All right.
I think she's an important character because as a young FBI agent, she's in a particularly male-dominated field, and she, I don't know, it's a pretty old film. I'm sure most people have seen Silence of the Lambs, but it's about hunting down a serial killer.
It's 1990. What do you mean it's a pretty old? Like we're all born before then.
Wow.
I was born in 1990.
There you go.
That's as old as me.
But I like the character because she, again, in a male-dominated field, she displays empathy, determination, and skill, and those traits are what put her ahead of her male colleagues in tracking down this serial killer, and ultimately make her the hero of the film. I really like that this character challenges traditional gender roles in a male-dominated field. And I think likewise with the character, I guess more broadly, is it paved the way for, I think, more female protagonists in those kinds of films, which you always just saw a male lead in a thriller or a crime film, which I'm particularly fond of, like thrillers and crime films. So yeah, I thought it was a really important performance. I know it's not like a under the radar one, like Jodie Foster's like amazing and everyone thinks that, but yeah, that's my pick.
It's a really good pick. Like it's really good. Like I rewatched Silence of the Lambs a couple of years ago, and man, that flick is just insanely well made, and she's so wonderful. And I also really like Jodie Foster in Panic Room. I think that's an underrated film and performance. Yeah, I have no notes on Silence of the Lambs. That's great.
I'll say, Nick, you're going to really like my pick then.
Did you watch, and I hope I'm not spoiling. No, I know you don't watch horror, so we're probably okay. Did you watch Longlegs, Nick?
Yeah, I did.
Did you kind of feel like there was a lot of similarities in what Micah Monroe was doing with her character to Clarice Starling?
Yeah, I did.
I was just wondering because a lot of people are drawing comparisons to Silence of the Lambs, and that to me I think was the biggest. I was like, I don't know if this film is like Silence of the Lambs, but those performances I see a lot of kind of some homage, if you will. Sorry, Matt, I didn't mean to step on your choice.
No. No, it's okay.
You're like, I chose Longlegs, James. I'm like, oh no.
No, I was gonna say, I was trying to think of like which like female characters I either just like felt really like happy for when they gave their performance, or like they broke my heart, or it was devastating. And I was going to pick a couple of days ago. I was going to pick Divine Joy is it Randolph? Rudolph. Randolph. And did she win for her character Mary in The Holdovers?
Yeah,
I
she
don't know if
did.
she won
Oh,
Best Supporting.
what a
So
movie.
that character was the one I wanted to pick like a week ago because it has still just stuck with me. Just that like hollowness, and like we're not seeing her grieving the loss of her son straight away. We're seeing the echoes and the ripples of it months later. And her sort of empathy for these her two other male characters that are in the film is gorgeous, and her one-liners, I love the sass of the one-liners. There's a moment right at the end where they're sitting outside the principal's office, and one of the young boy characters is just clearly just absolutely just devastated and slumping down, and she just like sits and she just reaches out her hand and they just hold hands, and I can't even put my finger on exactly why. I just treasure that performance and the way that she connected and presented herself. But I really wanted to pick her, and then I was talking to David, my husband, about it, and we were talking about just the people that I keep coming back to and back to and back to all the time, though. So you were like my Jodie Foster pick, and it is Ellie Arroway in Contact.
Oh,
And
so
that
good.
performance, yeah, and it's basically the same, like the same sentiments that you have for her in Silence of the Lambs. It's the woman in a male-dominated field. It's her. Um, she's such a richly developed character. She's intelligent. She's brilliant, but she's like a critical thinker. She's incredibly honest and moral, but she's got sort of this sense of like loneliness, like as her sort of keystone of her personality, this loneliness and this um like this drive for proof. And I feel like it's all sort of stemmed in her, that loneliness feeling, I think, rather than just a quest for answers. And I think that makes her incredibly relatable. And I just thought the performance that she does, the passion, the driven, sticking to her convictions, the independence, but also um, she likes to the pursuit of asking questions is just as important to her as the answers and finding the answers. And women in STEM, women in science, um, I love that film so much. It's one of my favorite films of all time. I'm almost like crying just thinking about how much I love it. I love it so much. I love her character.
Oh, great
And I
pick.
think that was really important. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think, to quote you, James, but I just couldn't give Jodie Foster enough flowers. Like, I just think even though she's rated, I still think she's underrated. Like what she can do with a character without necessarily saying a lot.
And she's been doing it forever. Like if you go back to even like Bugsy Malone or like Taxi Driver, like she's been doing great work since she was a kid. Like it's just insane, like how talented she is. And I know she's had mixed reviews in the last couple of years. I think like she's maybe not so popular in Hollywood for some of the things she's been quite outspoken about things, but kind of personal politics aside, like just what a wonderful contributor to this art form that we love. Like everything she's done is incredible.
And what do you think about Divine Joy, James?
I remember I remember seeing her speech at the Oscars, and I hadn't seen the holdovers, and I think maybe because she was so overwhelmed with emotion, she flubbed it quite a bit, and I was like, that was my first kind of reaction to it. First time I'd seen it, I was like, oh, I wish she had a practice. Like that was kind of my initial, my initial review. I was like, oh, like I kind of wish I could understand what she was saying. I wish she had a practice. And then I saw her as an actress. I was like, I'm an idiot, and I should shut up. She's like, shut the hell up, James. I didn't even see her in Holdovers first. I saw her in Only Murders in the Building. She plays the cop in that, and is hilarious in it. She's so funny. And then I watched Holdovers on a plane on the way to Scotland. And she's so incredible in it. Like that is a film where you just point and you're going to see a great performance. Like everyone is just firing on all cylinders, but she's so wonderful and so composed considering her loss in that film. Like, because there are moments where she kind of like yells out and like gives them crap and stuff like that. But in terms of her grief, like it's very well kind of hidden until it's not. And then it's just like, wow, like this. Yeah, she's also
I love
managed
that,
to be. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I love that in her grief, though, she still hasn't lost that nurturing quality. I think that's probably what makes me just so like warming to her, is that it is who she is. Like she's still a mother, even though her child's passed away, but she's still nurturing and warm. I love it.
Yeah, and especially to that character, like played by Paul Giamatti, who is just no one likes him. Like he's just burnt every bridge. I remember, I think I got off the plane. I think we settled somewhere. Like I don't think it wasn't straight away, but like we got to accommodation, and as soon as I had an internet connection, I was like, Maddie, I need to add this film to our trilogy. It's Dead Poets Society, Mona Lisa Smile, and now we can add The Holdovers to our movie marathon for like grumpy teachers who teach well or whatever it was.
It's a must. It's a must back-to-back trilogy. Yeah.
The unofficial like education in prep schools trilogy.
The cold winter. Yeah, the cold winter and education, hollow halls.
We're gonna nail the name of this trilogy if we try hard enough. We'll get there.
What were the three again? Obviously, apart from The Holdovers.
Dead Poets Society.
Yeah.
Mona Lisa Smile, and The Holdovers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll get there.
I haven't seen Mona Lisa Smile.
It's really... Maddie recommended that one to me on an episode of the podcast. She was like, you need to go check it out. And then I was thrifting. It was there. And I was like, Maddie recommended it. $5, let's get it. And it's amazing. And Maddie was like, if you like Dead Poets Society, this is just girl Dead Poets Society.
Oh,
it's like, all right. And yeah, she was right. Another Julia Roberts film.
Julia Stiles, Kirsten Dunst, Maggie Gyllenhaal. Forget who else. Some other good ones.
Sounds like it was made in 2004.
I think it was maybe 2003, but you're pretty close.
Probably, yeah.
I also want to say my honorable mention is just every Frances McDormand performance ever.
Yes.
She was my second pick for inspirational character.
Margie and Fargo.
Billboards. I would say Fargo or Billboards.
Yeah, 3 Billboards. I remember I took Tina to go see that movie. I knew what it was about. She didn't. And I was like, I didn't want to give it away too much. I was like, look, I think it's going to be pretty full on. Like, if you don't want to come and see this, she goes, no, I'll check it out. And when she found out it was, like, thank God we watched it before we had a daughter. So I didn't think Tina could ever go. Someone really famous played the daughter. I can't remember who it was now. Like, I didn't know her at the time. But now that I'm more familiar with people in Hollywood, I wish I could remember. I'm going to look it up.
Flashing across your brain.
Yeah. Blonde. I saw it the other day and I was like, oh, she's in 3 Billboards.
Abby Cornish?
I just remember...
No, not Abby Cornish. Catherine Newton, who I love. Catherine Newton plays Ant-Man's daughter in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. She was in Lisa Frankenstein, Blockers. She's in the new Ready or Not film. She's in everything. Like, she's amazing. Blockers, by the way, I could have used that film. Or was it Samara Weaving? Because she's in that as well. Oh, now I'm not sure. But I love both of them dearly. I think they're both fantastic actresses. And Samara Weaving, Australia represent.
Well, then you need to, have a check.
I need to rewatch 3 Billboards and report.
3 Billboards, but watch North Country because she's in it and she plays a very similar sort of gritty character going through some hard times, but like keeps it real, keeps it honest. Keeps her friends honest. Yeah.
I mean, actually, now that we've given a shout out to Frances McDormand, I would also say every Olivia Colman performance ever. Like, she's another one who like is always fantastic. I think that was a pretty good topic. I think we got some good stuff. Were there any surprises, Maddie? Because you wanted to get to know us better. Was there anything that surprised you, or you weren't kind of expecting from us?
Well, I wasn't expecting Hedy Lamarr from you. I've mentioned that name a few times, and nobody knows who it is because she's,
I can rock some deep cuts.
Yeah, no, I was impressed with that. I thought I was the only one that watches old films, so I didn't know that.
I don't know if I've seen any of her work, but like as a fan of
Okay.
the medium and
Yeah.
cool things in
Yeah.
history, I knew about because she invented Bluetooth, if I remember correctly. So
Yeah. No, she did. Yeah, no, that one surprised me. I didn't see that coming. Nick, I'm just very happy you did Jodie Foster, and we can just fangirl out to Jodie Foster all the time.
Anytime.
Be like, our queen, we love you.
Oh, yeah. She was really good in the new True Detective. I don't know if you watched that series, but it's she was like the lead police officer in the new series of that, and she was fucking just as good as always.
She
Yeah,
can do
that's
no
good.
wrong.
Do you feel like you know us better?
Yeah, I do. And I feel like I loved, I think I really like the way you're describing these amazing female characters or people. I like the way that you described things that you respected about them or that you found moving about them. It wasn't always just about like they're really cool and impressive. It was like there was different ones that were, you respected them, or you liked the grit, or you loved the humor. I'm really pleased.
That's
I'm really
good.
pleased
This is
with
a
the ladies you
toxic
brought.
masculinity-free zone here.
Yes,
but next
it is.
week we're doing the men. No, just kidding.
Hey, if you want me to bring a list of dudes, I love a good hottie of the week.
Yeah, we haven't had a hottie of the week.
Oh, this week it's Pedro Pascal.
He's hottie of the week every week.
Yeah, okay, not fair then. Fine, all right. I'll pick a new one.
No, I'm saying like for me, he's my hottie of the week every
Mr.
week.
Darcy, then. No, because it's the only film I've watched this week. So Mr. Darcy is my hottie of the week, and his white shirt that's been wet by the lake. That's a reference that you not understand.
I refuse to wear white shirts in case they get wet because it's a goddamn mess under there, to be honest, guys. What do we want to...
No, I'm kidding.
You're like, it's not a mess, it's a work of art.
You'll just finally realize I've got all these chest tats that I've never told you about.
Gang? Are you gang affiliated?
I don't know whether this is appropriate, but as soon as you said chest tats, I was like, tit tats.
And now the episode is called Tit Tat Toe.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're doing
This episode
so well.
this has been mad booby though.
Yeah, but it's always going to be when we just can't help it. It's so funny.
Well, as we know, that Nick is using the Australian culturally word, for good.
Booby.
It's
Booby.
To our friend Jacob, movie boners. I hope it's been a booby episode for you.
Have a booby old time.
Now next week, are we watching your film, Maddie? Is that what we're going to start with next week?
I hope so.
Do you want to tease it? Because Nick and I have no idea what it is. So do you want to tease it for the audience, or are you going to keep it a surprise and then we'll do the work behind the scenes?
Well, hang on. Are we getting together, or am I just sending it off as homework? Because I'd like to sit and watch it with you. I want to giggle and just watch your sheer
I
reaction.
think we should treat it like Mickey 17. We have every intention of watching it together, and then we'll just see how life lifes.
All right. Well, then I'll tell you what it is just in case. So between now and maybe the next time, I don't know, we'll do our best. I want you guys to watch, I don't know what year it came out, but it's John Leguizamo in The Pest.
Pest.
All right. I think iTunes
has that one,
Nick.
It's definitely a comedy. Yeah. It is part of my family lore, basically. One of the few comedies that we had on repeat. Yeah, that's it, that we grew up with. Think Van Wilder. No, think Ace Ventura type level of just silly.
This is the most late 90s coded
yeah.
thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and John Leguizamo in his classic fashion just talks so fast that you end up understanding or catching what he said by the time he's up to the third next joke. And so you're just giggling and smiling and laughing and questioning how he's gotten away with all these jokes. And yep, it's great fun. And I just want to watch you giggle and giggle and giggle.
I remember the VHS box art quite clearly because that was one that got rented quite a bit in the video store, but I never watched it. So, and you would think I would have, because I liked him as Luigi in the Mario movie.
Yeah, well, that's where we first found the film. Is we rented it from Blockbuster, and then it became each week being like, "Ooh, do we rent it again for another week? Do we rent it again?" And it strangely turned out to be one of my mum's favorite films.
I talked to your mum at the party we went to last week about movies for a little bit until she found more interesting people. She talked to me for a few minutes and she's like, "I'm going to hang out with cooler people." I was like, "No, I've lost her mum's respect."
Say that to you, surely not.
No, she was like, "I'm going to go with people I know," and I was like, "Fair enough." Did you have Maddie's brought up a question? We do need to get out of here, of course. But Maddie brought up an interesting question. Did you have a VHS or a DVD that you went to as a family renter, like you just watched a billion times as a family, Nick?
It would probably be the Three Amigos would be the one that we kind of came back to. But I would also say we had that. You know how you could tape from the TV?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I watched that tape well into the 2000s, and it had these sweet 90s ads on it as well.
I
which are just
love
so good.
going back and finding the treasure trove of all the the Nescafe ads or the I remember Razzmatazz ads for stockings.
I tell you, stay on the line because I found an Instagram page that just has like 90s Australian ads.
Yeah,
so
it's great.
It's like
can you send it to me? I want to see.
Yeah, I'll find what the account's called and I'll send it your way. Yeah, it's like, do you remember the one where there was like a peanut butter Elvis?
Yeah, well, my boobs from yeah. I quote that to Tina so much. Like,
and there's like any
chance to do that impression, I'm bringing it. Like,
there's another one. I quote with one of my best mates, Matt, all the time, and it's like for Campbell's soup or something, and it's like this husband's like, "You can't feed my parents canned soup, Elaine," but it's like Campbell's.
Yeah.
I'll see if you haven't seen it. It won't make sense.
I recently saw on that channel or similar channel all the old Yogo ads, which were claymation.
With the snake. Was it
the snake and the gorilla?
Or the gorilla?
Yeah. The 90s was a wonderful time. And also looking at the old logos for the TV channels, like they were all gold for some reason. Like Channel 9 had adopted like 3D technology to make the balls like spheres, and Channel 7 had made them rings. It's a wonderful time. But yeah, that peanut butter ad. Like, did you see how quickly I knew what you're talking about?
I was so impressed by that, James. Can you do the impression one more time, please?
So it's never oily and never dry, and he's like, "Well, my boobs," yeah. I know all the lyrics, but we're not going to go there. They should have cast that guy instead of Austin Butler in that Elvis film. They just made him. My family's go-to was Beverly Hills Ninja. So there's The Pest, there was Three Amigos, and Beverly Hills Ninja, which is now on Blu-ray. And I now have Three Amigos on Blu-ray. I bought that overseas, and I watched it for the first time, Nick, and I loved it.
Very good.
Was Beverly Hills Ninja, who was the lead in that?
Chris Farley.
So that was one of my other go-to rents. It was almost famous. Almost famous, which is the one with, surely he's in that. Oh God. I can't remember the name. Which one is it? I'm looking it up as well. I can't remember if it's Almost Famous or Almost Heroes.
Almost Famous is the musician one.
Okay, no, not that one then. So it's Almost Heroes, and we used to rent that one all the time. And it's what is it? Chandler from Matthew Perry.
Okay.
And Chris Farley. Yeah, Matthew Perry and Chris Farley, and it's a stacker. It's so good.
Okay, I haven't seen that one, so I'll have to check it out.
It's like two guys who are trying to beat Lewis and Clark to go across America.
Okay.
Something to do with going around America, and they're trying to beat Lewis and Clark, and they're just It's great. It's a really good comedy. Really, really good comedy. Well, Chris Farley's in it, so it's really, really good. And Perry, really good.
All right, I have to check it out. That'll be the next one after The Pest. After The Pest, maybe Nick can make a recommendation.
Oh, yes, I'd love to.
Well, I guess we did it. Nailed it.
Just 2 months too late.
I know.
No, but you know what? There's never a bad time to recognize women and everything they contribute.
And
but next time we'll do it on time.
I was like, if it means anything, it means we thought about it for longer.
Yeah,
that's true.
Absolutely. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Hopefully you dug it and our kind of dive into the wonderful women of Hollywood and their performances and all the things they've done. Pod Squad will be back in 2 weeks. Next week, I have a wonderful guest, Harry Waldman, director of Enter the Room, came on for almost 2 hours. Like I had a director come in, he just spoke for 2 hours. He was just such a wonderful talker. So you get to listen to that. And then we'll be back to our usual shenanigans after that. But that's going to do it for us here in Film Snob HQ, where every night is movie night. We'll catch you next week.